Yeah, hi, this is Dinesh Kumar and you are watching Oracle videos. So in the previous video we have discussed about what is a subquery, why is a subquery, and what are the subqueries, types of subqueries. One is single row subquery, another one is multi-row subquery. What is a single row subquery? If a subquery generates a single output value, it is called as a single row subquery. If a subquery generates more than one output value, this is known as multi-row subquery. Okay. In case of single row subquery, in between subquery and outer query, you can use equal to operator. So in case of multi-row subquery, in between subquery and outer query, you can use in operator. Now let me discuss about correlated subquery. This is a special case. Correlated subquery. If you have real requirement, then only use correlated subquery. Otherwise, it will also decrease your database performance or query level performance. Why it is? First, let me explain what is correlated subquery. Correlated subquery means we have to say it is a subquery, right? Before subquery, there is an outer query. Now see, what is correlated? Why it is a special case? First, correlated subquery means the subquery depends on outer query output. The subquery which is depending on outer query output. Again, the subquery which is depending on outer query output, that is called as a correlated subquery. It is known as a correlated subquery. Remember that. So, for the this is a query, complete query. First subquery has to be executed, but you are saying it is a correlated, means it is depending on this query execution. It is depending on the output from outer query. So first outer query has to be executed. What is the first execution query? Outer query. Okay, first time it is executing. It is generating some output. That is passed to subquery. Now second subquery is executing. This is the second step. So from subquery you are getting some output. That is passed to outer query. Then outer query is executed again. Outer query is executed again. So if you write a correlated subquery, how many number of times outer query is executing? Twice. So that's why don't prefer correlated subqueries unless and until you have a perfect requirement. Remember that. Again I am repeating, a subquery which is depending on outer query result is called as correlated subquery. So if it is depending on this, then it should be executed first. Outer query should be executed first. Then outer query generating some output, that is passed to subquery. Based on that output, subquery is executing here. Then it is generating some output. Based on this output, again outer query is executed. So outer query is executing twice. So that's why if you have real requirement, then only use correlated subquery. Otherwise don't use. Generally, according to my knowledge, correlated subqueries are useful to write reverse business process information, to fetch reverse business process information. What is reverse business process? What it is? Why we are calling it as a reverse business? Let us see. One bank is there. They have introduced some accounts, different new accounts they have introduced. Generally, why they are accounts is nothing but it's a product from bank. Right? A business has introduced some products that should be sold to customers. Right? Generally, everyone can expect some sales on each product. After some time, the banking people wants to analyze their banking products. Like, is there any types of accounts? Is there any types of accounts which is not opted by at least one customer? Is there any types of accounts which is not opted by at least one customer? maybe if they want to find out that information, then they have to write correlated subquery. Okay, remember. So suppose one company is there, suppose a Samsung company is there, they are releasing some products, mobiles they are releasing. Is there any mobile model which is not sold to at least one customer? There may be a chance, maybe some products which is not interested by single customer. In that case, if they want to know that information, they will use correlated subquery. Another one, suppose some departments are there or branches are there. So from the branches, the company people or the business people are terminating employees. After some time, they want to find out, is there any departments having at least one employee? Means the departments having employees, the departments not having employees. So is there anything like that? If they want to know that, then use correlated subquery. Just now I had explained about correlated subquery. Now I am going to explain about what are the operators. If you are writing a correlated subquery, in between outer query and inner query, we can use generally two operators, that is exists operator and not exists operator. Exists operator and not exists operator. Here you can use either exists or you can use not exists. What is exists? See, exist operator always observing this one subquery output. If at least one output value is generated, if at least one value is generated by subquery, then exist operator returns true. If exist operator returns true, then outer query will display output. Remember that. Suppose one value, suppose the value considered is 10. So for the value considered value 10, subquery not returning any value. It is not returning any output value. So if exist operator not receiving any value, then exist operator returns false. So if exist operator returns false, then outer query should not display output. Remember that. So not exist is reverse, just reverse of the exist. If there is a value from subquery, not exist returns false. If there are no values from subquery, then not exist returns true. If not exist returns true, then outer query will display output. If not exist returns false, then outer query should not display any output. Very simple. Let us see. I want to display department details which are having at least one employee within it. I want to display department details which are having at least one employee within it. Yeah. See, get department details if they have at least one employee within it. If they are having at least one employee within it. Example, see, select, you are expecting department details D dot star from DEPT D, where you are looking, if they have means if there exists. So where exists operator, select any value. So if your department having employee, then select his employee number, any value, not only employee number, you can also use select 1, 2, 3, 4, select 100, select 500, select 1000, anything, select 10, any value. Yeah. Select employee number from EMP from EMPE. You can also use select E dot EMPNO from EMPE. If the employee working in the particular department means employee department number that should be equal to department's department number. Employee department number that should be equal to department's department number. Means, see here, this is a joint, observe the query carefully, this is a joint condition. So, why we are writing subquery? To eliminate overhead of joins, whatever the negative impact you are getting on the query, to decrease that we are eliminating joins. But here again, according to your requirement, again we need to use join condition. So, subquery and again you are using join condition. Definitely this query will decrease your query level performance and database level performance. Now listen carefully. The query having subquery. Okay. First subquery has to be executed. To execute this query, for the execution of this subquery, first it will verify this condition. Here this is verifying the condition, this is a join condition. Taking employee, first employee department number, that should be verified with department table department numbers. But in this query you are not writing any department table. In this query you are not writing any department table. So department values you have to get from outer query. So for the execution of subquery, it needs department number values from outer query. So first outer query will be executed. Okay, it is selecting all department details. 10, 20, 30, 40. Let us assume some department names. Okay. From the selected values, first value 10 will be sent to here. Select is taking, see, it is taking employee department number. That employee department number 10, suppose 10 is verified with all departments. Okay. Now, yes, matching is there, then get the employee number. So if it is getting at least one employee number for the considered department, then exist operator returns true. If it is returning true, then outer query will display 10th department details. Why? Because 10th department is having at least one employee within it. Next one. Next one was, okay, 10 is over. Next it will take next employee department number 20, suppose. So 20 is compared with all department numbers. Yes, 20 is there. Okay, so that employee number it will fetch. If it is fetching that employee number, then exist operator is getting at least one value for the considered department 20. So it returns true for the value 20. Then outer query will display 20th department details. Let us assume all employees, some employees working under 10, some employees working under 20. Let us assume 30 and 40 not matched with any one employee department number. 30 and 40 not matched with any one employee department numbers. In such case, the select is not selecting any employee number for 30th department. So exist operator returns false for the 30th department. Whenever it is returning false for 30th department, outer query should not display 30th department details. Similarly, the subquery not selecting any employee number for 40th department. Then if it is not returning any value, then exist operator returns false. So if it is returning false for 40th department, then outer query should not display 40th department details. So like this, so many scenarios are there. See, so this is, let us assume under 10th department you have some employees. Under 20 also you are having some employees. Under 30 and 40 no employees. So finally the query is displaying the department details where at least one employee should be there. Now let me write it as a reverse. Get department details if there are no employees at all. Get department details if there are no employees at all. See, select same query D dot star from DEPT D where no employees at all means not existed any employee. So where not exists, and here select E dot EMPNO from EMPE where E dot department number is equal to D dot department number. Finish. So same, see, if the select is selecting one value for department number 10, it is selecting some value means it returns false. So it will not display 10th department details. If it is not selecting any value means it returns true. For 30 it is not selecting any value. So 30th department details it will display. And for 40 also it is not displaying any value. It is not fetching any value. If it is not fetching any value, it returns true. If it is returns true, then 40th department details it will display. So you will get the answer like this: 30 sales and 40 operations. Okay, remember this. Let us assume under 10 and 20 some employees are there, and 30 and 40 no employees are there. So don't try this query with your default tables EMP and DEPT. If you try like that, it will display 10, 20, 30 department details here and only 40th department details here. Why? Because in your default tables EMP, under 10th department some employees are there, under 20th department some employees are there, under 30th department also some employees are there, but under 40 there are no employees. Okay, so that's why I am saying let us assume that first two departments having some employees, at least one employee, and second two departments are not having any employees, right? Now let us see let me tell you the next scenario. I am the dealer for some companies. I am the dealer for some companies. Okay, I am maintaining company details under this one. Okay, and I am maintaining stock, means items from these dealers, different items from these dealers. This is called as item table. Company table, item table. Okay, here different companies are there: CMP1, CMP2, CMP3. Here HDC, Philips, Sony, Wipro. I am the dealer for these companies. Okay, here I am maintaining item details. So every day items are sold out. So sometimes we need to verify whether the items are available from the company or not. In such cases, I want to know, find out the company details from which I have no products at all. Again I am repeating, try to find out company details from which we are not having at least one product. We are not maintaining at least one product. Then by seeing that information I can make an order to the company, right? How should I? Simple. You are selecting data from company details, C dot star, that is C from COMP, from COMP C, where if there are not existed any products, where not exists, select some value 100 from, what is the table name here? Product table P, where if P dot company ID is equal to C dot CMP ID. If there is a product, if the matched data is there, it will select a value. If it is selecting, it will not display that company. Why? Because at least one product is there. If it is not selecting any value, then not exist returns true. So then considered company details it will display. Similarly, this is a sales scenario, this is general HR scenario. Next scenario, bank is there or insurance company is there. They are releasing some insurance schemes or loans schemes. Okay, some people opted for some kind of loans, some people opted for some kind of insurances. Finally, I want to find out the insurance schemes opted by at least one customer, the insurance schemes that are not opted by at least one customer. How should I find out? Simple. So banking scenario, select, I want to get account, select star from, okay, account dot star from account types, ACT, where I want to find out it existed, at least one customer existed for an account, then display that account detail. Select one from, what is the table name? Customer account details, CAD, where CAD dot account type is equal to ACT dot account type. If both are equal, then it will select one. If exist operator is seeing some value, then it will returns true. If it returns true means, then that corresponding account details it will display. That corresponding account details it will display. So if you are looking for the account types not opted by customers, then at the place of exist operator use not exists. That's all. So now have a look practically whether these are working out or not. Okay, all of you say here, let me explain all these scenarios in your practical session.